Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Star Trek Online. I am Bull, and once again we are continuing on with the further adventures of Captain Roger and the starship Voila. Alrighty, we are now heading for the mission War is Good for Business. The USS Shakar is experiencing intermittent power failures. There is little threat to the safety of the ship, but they do have a scientific team on board that is conducting a time-sensitive survey of anomalies in the area. Captain Tavana has requested that another ship rendezvous with the Shakar. See what you can do to help them. Travel to the Cela system and rendezvous with the USS Shakar. Alright, so we are heading to the Cela system. And we're going to go ahead and fast forward slightly. Okay, and we are now pulling into the Cela system. So let's start War is Good for Business. You'll occasionally see the patrol Cela system, which just popped up. What that'll do is that'll give you a random mission. It does a procedurally generated mission that's just a quick little something to do. Frequently it's just go in and fight off some ships or something. I don't usually bother with those because they're not really, they're not storyline related. They don't usually give you anything amazing as far as quests go, or loot. But if you're just looking for something to do, a way to earn a few experience points, that's one way to do it. So let's scan the ship. Our scans have revealed that one of the plasma conversion sensors on the EPS conduits leading to the starboard power coupling. Wow, that's a mouthful of technobabble. We're sending this information over to the Shakar's engineering team. Alright. Oh, hey, and there's an accolade for lending a helping hand. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out what we need to scan. We have this really big area. However, you will notice that there are these white-looking asteroids out here. There should be a third one kicking around somewhere. Alright, there we go. Two. I'm not really sure. Alright, let's head up to this one first. And we'll see what happens. I don't see another one out this direction anywhere, so I'm guessing this is the first one we need to go to. We've entered a nebula. These are a pocket of gas that would make using full impulse unsafe. We're also taking a little bit of damage from being in this pocket, but it's not enough to really do any serious harm to the ship, fortunately. There is also an enemy floating around here. But he seems to be heading out away from us, so we can ignore him for the moment. So we're going to get in here. And you can see a little gear icon popped up when I moused over this white crystal. So at some point, once I get close enough, I'll be able to interact with it. Now you can see as I mouse over here, my hull is taking some damage. Fortunately, my hull repair is high enough that I'm repairing the damage as fast as it's coming in. If I were to lose some crew and my hull repair rate was to drop, that might change a little. But for the time being, I'm pretty safe. I'm actually going to kick up full power to engines. I can't remember if I've actually explained this or not. There are several different settings. The numbers down here, the top one is weapon power, second one is shield power, third one is engine power, and the fourth one is auxiliary power. Weapon power helps determine how much damage your weapons do. The more weapons you're using, and more importantly, the more different types of weapons you're using, the more drain there is on your power systems, your weapon systems, and thus the less damage they will do overall. So while having having 8 different weapons on your ship, like say you wanted to have a bunch of different types of beam arrays, anti-proton, disruptor, photon, whatever, or phaser, it looks really cool because you're shooting off all these different colors of beam, and you get the different procs and stuff that you can do, but it's not really that efficient because it will rapidly drop your weapon power, and which means your weapons are actually doing less damage, which is not good. The second one is shield power. Shield power is primarily used for, well, it's your shields. The higher that is, the higher your shield regeneration rate. And if your shield regeneration rate is below, I want to say 50% or 50, you will not regenerate shields. So you want to keep that up to 50 at least if you want shield regeneration, which is one of the reasons why you don't want full-powered engines while you're running through combat. The third one is engines. The higher that is, the more power you can put into your impulse drives to go faster. The last one is auxiliary. Auxiliary does a handful of different things, but primarily it affects certain, mainly science skills. So the higher your auxiliary power, the more effective some of your science abilities are. You don't really have to worry about that too much, I don't believe, as a engineering captain. I generally run with full power to weapons, and you'll see that the presets basically switch it up. Full power to weapons gives you max power to weapons, decent power to shields, and then minimum power to engines and auxiliary. 25 is the minimum you can assign to those. Then there's also full power to shields, which is really good for when you're taking a pounding and you just want to stay alive. And then you can also distribute them evenly, which gives them 50 across the board. And then, as you'll notice, some of my numbers are actually not... See, I've got 56 of 50. And the reason for that is some of my abilities, and like Efficient Captain, that I chose when I created this character, and certain other abilities affect those and give me bonus points. So, alright, we're back to being affected by the nebula, which meant I could have actually popped on full impulse for a little while there, and you could have not had to listen to me babble like that while I traveled. But it gave me time to explain all of this. So we are heading over to this anomaly. Slowly. There we go. We'll go full powered impulse, and that'll give me a little extra, not a ton. All right, I can scan the anomaly. And all right, and there is, I think, another one over there, directly ahead of me. I think that's the next place I have to go. It certainly looks suspicious from here. And there was a ship that you saw earlier on, an enemy ship that was ahead of me. It came over to this one, and then it headed over that direction. So I'm following that ship, if nothing else. There we go. Evasive maneuvers is really handy for just that little extra burst of speed. And we are now out of the nebula effect, so I can actually go full impulse, and I can kick it up a few more notches. Also handy. Oh, and I see enemies up ahead, so this is definitely the direction I needed to go. Alright, we got Siphon frigates. Alright, Siphon frigates are annoying because they will fire out these power siphon drones. And those will actually drain your power levels of your weapons and shields and engines and stuff like that. Also, as a note, be sure to remember, so it's a good idea to target those right away when you can. The other thing, do try to remember, if you've kicked up your power to engines to full, switch it back over to whatever your presets that you like to use are, or your custom. You can actually customize those and set them at different levels as well. I just generally run with the presets because I'm fine with that. But it's really embarrassing when you go through an entire fight and you're like, why is my damage so terrible? And then you realize you've been running the entire time with weapon power, full power to engines. Let's get that drone, because those drones are annoying. These things aren't particularly difficult, but they are really annoying. Take these drones out. Ah, there it is. You can kind of see the big white crystal down there now. Of course, I have to finish this guy off first. Alright, now, conveniently enough, I'm out of range of everything else. So if I'm lucky, yeah, I can actually scan the anomaly. There we go. And I can warp out of here without engaging the rest of those ships. Now, I could have gone and engaged them if I wanted to. Bloodthirsty Federation captain and all. But in this case, we'll just move on with it. There's no reason to sit and fight them. Alright. We have to deliver scientists to Starbase 114. So let's head over to this, and you'll see there are some ally ships out here. Yeah, they'll become important in a moment. Fishy's Hope. There's some great names, too. Beam scientists to station. I run ops here at Starbase 114. Thank you for the science team. The USS Archer is waiting to take them to the next destination. Now that you're here, maybe you could assist me. My inventory showed that 3 containers of chemosite are missing from the cargo bays. Highly refined chemosite can be used to create explosives of massive power. They're short-staffed, so they need help, so let's beam down to the station. This is another of what I like to call time-waster missions, because you already basically know what's going to happen. He's already told you the storyline. We can talk to him and get a little bit more information. He's Commander Cleveland. How can I help? Scan the cargo bays. I can ask him some other questions, but there's not really a need to. Gives you a little bit more backstory. So we have to scan each of the cargo bays. So you need to run in, and somewhere in the middle, there will be a section to scan the cargo bay. So, also look around. There's a couple of boxes you can loot because, well, you're a starship captain, so you can, I guess, requisition random equipment you find in these things. There we go. Yeah, there's certain spots in each of the cargo bays where you have to be to scan, and sometimes they're a little bit non-obvious. They're not quite in the middle, so you got to run around a little bit and find the sweet spot. To complete our search of this cargo bay, there is a place for the chemosite, but most of the containers are missing. Those that are still here have been filled with a synthetic derivative. The synthetic is meant to scan as chemosite, but retains none of the volatile properties. So somebody stole the chemosite and swapped out a fake. Oh, and there's a crate we can loot. I will tell her, not now. I don't understand how this could have happened. That's what this last right there was saying. Alright, so I'm going to beam up. They show signs of unauthorized entry, but there are no chemosite on the station. Whoever stole it probably loaded on their ship. Recommend we scan the nearby cargo ships to find the stolen material. Alright, so up we go. Alright, we will. Now there's all kinds of scan. There's a bunch of ships. The Treasure of Zix, the Prexnox, the Laran, and as you get close to them, you can scan them. There we go. Can you hurry up? I've got a schedule to keep. So, obviously nothing there. You can scan all of the different ships, but I will tell you right now, there's a Ferengi ship out here called the Dandy. The Dandy is our culprit. Sensors are picking up chemosite, and then he runs. I can pop him a couple times before he gets out of range, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. He runs, we have to follow, there's going to be combat. I'm going to go ahead and pause until we actually do some catching up, because this is kind of more time wastery stuff. I just follow them for a little while, and it takes a few to actually catch up. So, see, now the fun thing is the Nandy actually runs into a nebula. You can see my nacelles are starting to spark and smoke. Basically, that's not doing any damage to my ship, but it does mean that I cannot use full impulse. Oh, and then some Nausicaans show up. So I have to clear out the Nausicaans before I can do anything else either. Now, see, I can click full impulse, but nothing really happens. Again, kind of annoying. Not a whole lot you can do about it, though, other than suck it up and get in there and get some fighting in. I'm going to go to full power to engines for the moment, because this is really taking a long time to catch up with these ships. Because they seem to be moving away from me, which is just really fun. Oh, there we go. You can see some of the others now. But all right, we're going to switch back over to weapons, and we're going to open up. We'll jam some sensors just because. It's always fun to make sure they can't shoot at me for a few seconds, while I can shoot at them. And this is a Nausicaan destroyer escort. Nausicaans actually have some pretty cool ship designs. Destroyer escort's not too fancy, but you'll see like the Gurumbas and stuff that they have are really nifty looking. And they're actually ships you can get on Klingon side through the Zen store. Alright, well, there's one down. We have two more groups of Nausicaans. And we'll pop some evasive maneuvers to cheese out a little bit extra speed. You can see the Nandy down there, but down, yeah, right there, kind of near that base. Alright, we have a Talon battleship. And now it is moving. That is one of the most frustrating things, is when you see a ship and you start running towards it and it is actually flying away from you. Because it just makes it, especially when you can't use full impulse, because it just makes it take so much longer to catch them. I hate that. That's one of the few things about this game, and honestly every game, I think every MMO does that. They have those little bits of basically just time waster things. Things designed to pad the mission out so that you can't complete them as quickly. And I find that just really frustrating and annoying, because you know what? If I've got the skills, if I've got the ship or whatever to complete a mission quickly, you know, just let me do it. The first time I'm doing this mission, yeah, this is kind of neat. I'm like, oh, this kind of, you know, it's frustrating, but it's like, oh, well, you know, makes sense from a storyline purposes. But, you know, even I'm not much of an altaholic, as they call it. I don't like to play multiple characters too often, because I get bored replaying the same thing over and over again. Star Trek, I've actually got a few alts, and that's rare for me. And the only reason I do is because Star Trek it's fairly easy to level up. In fact, you can level up entirely using the duty officer system, which is largely how several of my characters have leveled. Got a power siphon drone. Kill it. But, and this is one of the reasons I don't like to alt those, because you get these things where it takes so long for no reason. So the second, third, fourth, eighth time you've played through this is just, you know, it's just frustrating more than anything. Okay, sorry. Stop talking there. I was busy just trying to kill these guys as quick as possible. Alright, we've got the Nandy. I can scan it. And they don't have the Nandy's empty. The crew must have beamed down to the asteroid, so let's beam down to the base. Alright, I've got my away team. And down we go. Find the chemo site. Alright. Come on, kids. Let's go play. Oh, he came out with a knife. Alright, we're going to kill the Nausicaans, because Nausicaans are ugly. Plus, you know, the Nausicaans are trying to kill me, so it's a pretty good reason to take them out. Hmm. Yep, I took a little bit of damage there. That was fun. Alright, we've got two. We're going to come this way first. Alright. Nothing interesting in this room. Personal shields are low. So we're going to come back here and we're going to hide. There we go. Let my shields regenerate. Alright, I'm actually going to come back up here because there was a room I skipped. And I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Because we need to find 7 stolen explosives. 7 crates. So we are coming up here to make sure I didn't miss any crates. I don't believe I did, but being thorough never helps. Oh, and I've now dealt 20,000 disruptor damage. Which is interesting because I'm not currently using disruptors. I'm guessing it counts the damage your crew does as well. Alright. I've got some damage, so I'm going to go ahead and drink some Sluggo Cola. Because that, yeah, that'll beef my regen pretty quick. And, well, I had some, so I might as well use it. Alright, we're in a big cargo bay full of crates, and you can see there's a glowing box up ahead. There's also a glowing door, so let's figure out what's going on. We've got Nausicaans, though, so let's clear them out. Drop some mines, because folks will walk over them, hopefully. Take some damage. There we go. Alright. This is just a crate. This is not one of the explosives we need. So we'll loot that. Mark for transport. Ah, this is what we need. So one here. This one you got to kind of be careful because there's a couple of them that are hidden like in the middle of these boxes. This one's up top here. Oh, and hey, look. Nausicaans. Now I'm going to kind of stay up here for a couple of reasons. I think this will help, but it may... Well, no, I fell, so... There's a box up here. Unfortunately, you kind of need to... There we go. It's up just high enough that if you're on the ground under it, you can't tag it. So I've now tagged 4 boxes for transport. Which leaves 3 more, and I don't see any more in here. Now, if you look at the map, there are two doors off to either side, 2 hallways, and there is this. However, there's security locks. So which means I need to find something to unlock that door. So we're going to go down this hallway. Oh, and we're going to kill a couple more Nausicaans. Ooh, he's got a cool energy whip or something. Alright, so kill the Nausicaans, and oh look, there is 2 crates. So we're down to 1 more once we tag these. And there's also a computer terminal we can use. Override security lock A. Alright. And there's a crate, or a loot box I didn't pick up. Alright, there's still 1 more box, and, you know, I know it's down the other hallway, but let's check this door real quick, see if I open. Nope. Open reinforced door. I don't think I opened it yet. Security lock's in effect, and so since that other one said it was security lock A, chances are real good there is a security lock B somewhere around to find. Got another elite raider. Oh! I got chained or something. I don't know what that was, actually. Some sort of effect that pinned me into place, which is pretty cool looking. I'm actually not sure what he's using for that. I've never had a weapon that did that. Might be something just they can do. Alright. Well, here is probably the last crate. Marked for transport, yep. So that gives us 7 of 7. And overlock security B. Override security lock B. Alright, so now we just need to capture the Ferengi captain, and that should have opened the door up top. And there's all these mines just left laying around where any child can find them. That's horrible. The Federation is terrible, terrible people. Alright, open reinforced door. Oh, yeah, and look at this. There's those. There's Captain Mock. So let's go ahead and start shooting. Captain Mock's pretty tough, but after he takes enough damage, he becomes vulnerable, and I can tag him for transport. Can't we negotiate? No, we can't, because you stole our stuff and then tried to kill me. Alright, so we've captured the thief and recovered the Kima site. Commander Cleveland sends his thanks and says we are cleared to leave the system, so I can depart system. So we're going to go to Regulus, and we are going to turn this in, and this should be enough to level us. Yep, we're going to get some armor, we're going to get a phaser beam array, and haha! So now that I am level 10, I actually just got a promotion. I went from Lieutenant to Lieutenant Commander. And there is new mission, Promotion, Lieutenant Commander. This mission will provide access to a free ship, so I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to head back to Space Dock. Now, since I am currently... Oh, and Treasure Trading System is the next mission in the chain, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that as well. But I am currently in the Regulus system, and I need to get back to space dock. So I could hit Sol System Transwarp, which is pretty quick, but I'm actually going to cheat, and I think I showed you this before, but if not, anytime there is some sort of event going on, and currently the 3rd anniversary is still going on, I have a walkthrough for the anniversary events in my playlist. But anyways, I'm going to call up the 3rd anniversary event, and whenever there's one of these, frequently there is a transwarp that will take, especially when Q is involved. So I'm going to take the transwarp, and that will actually take me directly to the space dock. I don't remember if I mentioned this, if I've told you about that before, so if not, there it is. A lot of people tend to miss that. So besides seeing me finish up that mission, you guys get to see a level up. A promotion, which is pretty handy. If the system will actually load. There we go. So we need to go see Admiral Quinn. Admiral Quinn is in the Admiral's office. You can follow the sign. Admiral. I'm going to run in here and talk to Admiral Quinn. I'm going to get a free costume change, a free respec token, and once I go to the shipyard, I can get a free ship token. So we're going to upgrade my ship, which will be nice because it'll give me something a little bit more powerful, a little faster, and a little, just a little better overall, which is fairly nice. So we're going to head down to space dock. And we need to talk to Lieutenant Laurel. Congratulations on making Lieutenant. The Admiral has given his blessing for you to choose a ship appropriate to your new stature. Alright, so I'm going to get a new starship. Browse selection. Alright, just to make life easier, I'm going to go down and filter to Lieutenant Commander. And I am playing a engineer, and I want to be a little bit tankier. Now, there are some other options. If I wanted to do more damage, I could take the escort, be a little faster, a little more maneuverable. I can take the cruiser if I want something that's a little more, little tougher, and then the science vessels are just a little bit. They're interesting. The science vessels are more maneuverable than a cruiser, but not as tough as them, and they don't do as much damage as an escort usually, but they have more science slots and stuff, obviously. So let's look at my cruiser options. Lieutenant Commander. So I'm going to filter just by cruisers. Alright. Well, there's the Constitution. Unfortunately, the Constitution is a 500 Zen ship. So I don't want that. Ah, there we go. Okay. Sometimes the thing gets the prices get locked. So I can buy the Constitution. This is the movie version of the Enterprise, the Constitution A. I could buy this. This has 2 weapons front, 2 weapons rear, so it wouldn't be a huge change for me there. Base turn is pretty low. It's got 2 engineering slots, a tactical slot, and a ensign slot. But honestly, I'm going to go ahead. I think I am going to go ahead for now and take the escort. Escort is 3 weapons forward, 1 weapon aft. So still 4 weapons, but it's more heavily front forward facing. It's got a much higher turn radius, but it's just not as tough. It has a lower hull, a lower shield modifier, so it'll take damage more often. But I think this will let us get through combats a little faster, and since I'm not really too worried about tanking yet, I'm going to take this. Now, the other thing is there's several variants I can grab. There's the Saber, the Rapier, and the Ushan. And then I can do some more customization of it, but this is just the base level ship. If I go to cruisers, you know, I may still go with a cruiser just because. Well, there's the Constitution. I could also grab an Excalibur, which was the ship that Sulu was commanding in one of the movies. And then there's the Vesper, which is another ship in the same general class. You know what? I'm going to stick with this. I'm an engineer. I'm going to stick with my engineering-based ship. So we're going to grab the cruiser, and we're grabbing a Constitution, and I'm going to rename it. And we're going to stick with the Voila. And we're going to call this one the Voila A, because I cannot actually name it the Voila since I already have a ship named that. So, okay. Now I'm going to do a couple of things now that I have my ship, because first off, I need to make sure that that is my active ship. So I come over here, and I'm going to come down to the Voila A, and I'm going to ready starship. Now the second thing I'm going to do is, well, looking at it, it has a beam array and a torpedo front, and a beam array and a torpedo aft. That's kind of nice because it means when ships are behind me, I can still fire torpedoes. However, since I tend to broadside a lot, I usually end up dropping that other torpedo array. And wow, my inventory is a little bit full. Actually, it was completely full, but you can see now, because these two were on the bottom category, you can actually see it opened up another rank of slots for me. And the main reason it did that is because I am a gold member. And gold members do end up they earn extra slots for their character as they go. Extra equipment slots. So, first off, I'm going to strip off all the decent stuff that I had on this for the moment and put it on here. So we're going to go, oh, wrong ship. There we go. Do that. Do that. And then I'm actually going to sell real quick because I do have a full inventory and it's really annoying. So I'm going to actually do a couple things. First things, let's go check out my bridge crew. Course was my main one. She's got a green, because I've got a green quality armor. She's got green already. Thorl does not. I like Thorl, so we're going to give him that. And I'm also going to go ahead and give him some shield generators, or some auxiliary shields. And some of those. Korspa is going to get that. And we'll give her some power cells. Chocks. Get some power cells. Ozraz. Get some extra healing. And Ozraz is still rocking a Mark 1 weapon. I've got a Mark 2 Pulse Wave Mark. I'll give her this. Alright, that's good enough. And then I'm going to sell the rest of this stuff, just to get it out of my inventory. So I do have I got a stealth module, but I don't use stealth, so that's useless to me. Dual beam bank isn't all that useful. Food items, they're alright, but I don't need them. Ooh, right. Alright, if you accidentally sell something you didn't want to, you can buy it back here. Because one thing I forgot about is I had picked up a Mark III, which was a Lieutenant Commander. The weapons all have a mark on them, and obviously the higher the mark version of it is, the more powerful it is. At levels 1 to 9, you can only use Mark 1 and 2. Levels 10 to 19, you can use 3 and 4. 20 to 29, you can use 5 and 6, etc. So I had a Mark III that I actually could not use on one of my characters. So we're going to keep that for the moment. I do have a Mark II emitter array, don't I? Oh, and that's blue, a Mark III. We're going to hold on to that because that'll give me extra shield emitter power. So we're going to sell that, sell that, sell that, sell, sell. Oops, I somehow bounced down there. Oh. Alright, so let's open up with K. I can open up my ship status window again. Oh, I need to actually go talk to this dude, though, because I've still got stuff on my old ship. So we're going to close that. Open this up. And we're going to go over to the old Voila. And yeah, we're going to pull off the rest of this stuff. And you'll also notice with the new Voila, yeah, I actually lose a tactical console, but it goes over, I get a engineering console, and I can use 4 devices on this ship, which is pretty nice. So I have got this green Mark II torpedo that I'm going to throw on the front. I am going to use this green engine. I'm going to put the positron deflector array on. I've got a green Mark II shield, which is going to be better than the white. It's got the same shield capacity, same regeneration, but it does reduce damage to disruptors. I am going to put the phaser relay on. We will put this into my engineering slot. I'm going to lose the regeneration, but this will actually give me more power to my shields, which is more useful. And it's blue, so it's shinier. And do I not have a engineering console? Apparently I do not have any other engineering consoles at the moment. So I can go ahead and sell the rest of this stuff for the most part, other than this weapon, which that's the high density beam rifle, which I am going to give to Korspa, because she is going to be my coolest character to use that with. And I'll give her a little bit more range because she's just got the phaser pistol right now, which is shorter range. Since I got a green phaser pistol, let's give that to Thorl. It'll reduce his range a little bit, but it's going to do a little bit more damage. And we'll sell the rest of this crap. Alright, so I now have a clear inventory, and I've got my ship. So my next step is that I can actually go in and do some ship customization. And I believe I showed you this when I first picked up the NX Enterprise, the Voila 1. So I'm going to, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put on my fleet logo, because I like my fleet logo. And you can see it's the USS Voila A. I can actually switch up the template if I wanted to, even though I picked the template there. There's also the Exeter, but the Exeter is actually a Zenstore version. And it's pretty cool looking, but like I said, I'm going to stick with the Constitution because it's a nice classic. Let's unfortunately, it's sometimes a little hard to... There we go. And it resets since I did that. Alright. And, you know, just for fun, let's give it some color. Let's go with the hull first. Andromeda is its default, so you can see it's got the black along the bottom. The saucers. You get some really neat things. Good at that. There we go. And actually, let's see. We got material types. Yeah, let's stick with the type 1. Type 1, and we're going to go ahead and let's actually make this blue. There we go. That's kind of nifty looking. I now have this blue paint job on my, and we're going to purchase. And the nice thing is the first customization you do to your ship is free. So, all right. And how much do I actually have money-wise? Because I've got a couple of other things I need to do. We're going to make this video a little extra long because we're showing you this stuff. But I'm also going to show you now how to promote your bridge officers. So what we're going to want to do is we're actually going to run over here to the science area, because what we are looking for is this area here. And we're actually going to come to the bridge officer trainer, because I'm going to pull up my bridge officers. And we are going to promote. I can't actually promote her because she doesn't have high enough skills. I have 2,258. Oh, because the other thing is looking at my stations. I have 4 stations now, and one of those actually is Lieutenant Engineering. So it's actually got 2 abilities to it. So we are going to put Thorl in there. And you'll see, since he hasn't been promoted, he can't use his lieutenant ability yet. We'll put in Shocks, Azraz, and Korspa. And let's see, who was it that I put in there? Thorl. So I need to promote Thorl up. Thorl has at least, he's got 2,000 spent, so he's got at least 1,000 that I needed to promote him. So we're going to promote him again. And I'm going to look at his skills. He's got emergency power to shields, which I like. He's also got extend shields, which is really useful if you're grouping up, because what that does is it gives some shield regeneration to an ally's shields and gives them some damage resistance. Really handy when you're working in a group or doing an STF. Not all that great when you're solo, so I'm going to actually retrain that. So we're going to talk to the bridge officer trainer. Officer training. Move this over to the side. And we're going to filter out to just engineering space. And this will show you what all powers you have options for at each level. So Ensign, there's only the 5 that I can choose to give him. Lieutenant, there's auxiliary to battery, auxiliary to structural, and that's one of the other things that auxiliary power is used for. Because you can temporarily drain your auxiliary power to boost one of the other areas of your ship. Boarding party, directed energy manifold. Here we go. Reverse shield polarity. I love reverse shield polarity. I honestly think it's a little bit overpowered. What reverse shield polarity does is it shifts your shield so that when you're taking damage, it actually converts some of the incoming damage to shield health instead of damage. So if you're getting pounded on, this is a great way to basically you absorb the energy and you regenerate your shield. So it's fantastic for giving yourself a quick fix. So I'm going to give that to Thorl, and you'll see that costs me a little bit of energy credits. But once that's done, I now can train reverse shield polarity, which is fairly handy. Now you'll see these actually cost 500 per level, so this is expensive. But I really like this power, so I'm going to go ahead and jump up all my points as far as I can. You also notice it opened up another set of powers for the ground. I'm going to go ahead and promote her, because even though the cooldown on them is going to be terrible because I haven't put any points into them, she's actually got a second skill now. And promote him up. He can't be promoted yet either because he's got no training. So I'm going to have to get his engineering team up as well because it's not going to be all that useful yet. So, yeah, that's that. And actually, we've got one other thing we can do. I've got an alien that I picked up. I don't think the recording got this, so in case it didn't, I'm going to recover it. If you open up if you click over where it actually has your rank at the top left corner, like it says Lieutenant Commander 10, you will see it tells you what you get at each level. And at level 9, when I hit level 9, I got a bridge officer. And that bridge officer, I didn't have room at the time because up until level 10, you only have room for 4 bridge officers. Once I hit level 10, it opened up 2 more bridge officer slots. So I had an officer candidate that I couldn't use, so it ended up over there, officer candidates. And it is an alien science officer, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to... I have the option, if I wanted to, I could use her to train one of the skills. Oh, I've got the filter on still. I could use her to train one of the skills, and then I could give that skill to Ozraz. So that would be a way to do a free skill training instead of spending a little bit of energy credits at the bank. The other thing is at the commander level, some of these abilities can't be trained at the bridge trainer. You can only learn them from other officers or from space captains that have learned a high enough level of a skill to train that skill. But I don't want to do that because I actually am going to take this officer. So I'm going to have them join. I can change their name and I can change their uniform. I'm going to change their uniform. Well, okay, I was going to, but unfortunately it's a little glitchy. Boufabe. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the costume unlock guy, which is all the way on the other side of the station. So we're going to take a shortcut. We're going to run through here. We're going to jump on things. Look at that. I'm jumping on things, Captain. And we are going to come over to here. And it probably would have been faster to go the other way. Oh, well. And we are going to come over and talk to the costume designer because he is who we talk to change everything. So we are going to... We've got Roger the alien. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of quick notes. And I'm going to pause this while I do that. But what I want to do is I'm actually going to turn that female alien character I got into a copy of Roger. Into Roger's race. Now, one of the things I could have done had, if that officer was male, I can save Roger, which I've done, I think. If not, well, there, I've saved him. And if it was a male, I could actually just load Roger's template onto that character. Unfortunately, because it's female, I can't load the physical template on. So, I'm going to pause. Just as a note, this is a little bit tricky doing this, because like I said, I could just save it for male, but for female, what I actually need to do is record the values for pretty much all of these, so that I can recreate it in the female. I mean, I can kind of estimate it, but if I want something that's pretty close, I need to actually record these. So like I got to go in and do cranium slope, and I got to put down, because each of these marks is about 20%, so I can put cranium slope 21%. And that knows I need to slide it up to around there. And it won't be exact, but that's okay. So I'm going to continue doing this. And then I'll come back when I've got the basic values plugged into my female alien. Okay, and we're back. As you can see, Boufabe here has been modified to match up with Roger, more or less. He's got these tenderly chop things, little facial fur, which the female characters you can't give. Otherwise, she matches up pretty good. She's a little thinner, being female. The female models tend to be a bit on the thinner side, but that's okay as well. So I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. So I'm going to save her. And now, next time I do a female alien, I can create another one. Alright, so we're going to exit, and yeah, sweet. Alright, well, that is it for me for tonight. I've shown you a little bit of extra stuff, and I apologize this video ran a little longer than intended. Uh, but I think we're good. You got to see the quest, you got to see some level up stuff, so it was fun. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Please, as always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Like the video if you did, dislike it if you didn't. Please leave comments, advice, suggestions. What do you want to see? What don't you want to see? Is there anything I could do differently to make these more interesting? Let me know. Well, thank you. Have a good one, and until next time.